Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. We are here today to go over another world's possible list for the Path of Steel 3v3. This is a pairing with the Arisana that we already had in the water slot. I decided to take it a little bit differently and decided to look into something like Wind Rai. So like I said, this is a completely different list than what most people are going to expect. This is something a little unique if you're trying to have fun. It's not the most optimal list. There's probably some better optimal lists I'm not spoiling just yet. It'll come out later close to the Worlds. But so this list may look familiar for those who have been around in the channel from the earlier days, that this is Pickle Sword's Wind Rai list. So there's a little bit of tweaking just due to the whole Worlds format and the way it works. We decided to bring in Spirit of Serene Wind and Spirit of Wind into the main board, depending if you sort of know if you're going first or second. Sometimes it might come into play. Sometimes it might be safest goes Spirit of Serene Wind, depending, but it is the best one format, so use your best judgment. We have Rai level 1, Rai level 2, and Rai level 3. I was debating on this in between Mana Weaver because of the fact that there's some funny plays that could be happening in Mana Weaver, but I feel like the most optimal play for this would be going Storm Seer. We have the 1x Chalice and Blood, Nullifying Lantern, because you get the 20 damage, you go ahead and draw 2 cards, or Nullifying Lantern if you're facing the Erupting matchup. We decided not to give the Terrafring to this deck. Terrafring's going to be used for an entirely different list. That'll be our Fire deck. We'll get the Terrafring in this lineup. Quicksilver Grail, we gave it this because you can go ahead and Quicksilver Grail, say Nullifying Lantern. You can go ahead and Quicksilver Grail, Safeguard Amulet. I've done Quicksilver Grail Tome of Knowledge before. If you go ahead and have the sort of the memory down the right way and you level up with Dungeon Guide and you have the Quicksilver Grail down with the Tome of Knowledge, you can then flip that over, then banish your last card if it's Arcane and get an extra level counter off of that as well. So those are some plays and interaction you can think of with Quicksilver Grail and Tome of Knowledge. You have the Ventus Staff of Zephyrs. This is not different, a little bit different than Pickle's list. Something I feel like you could run just because of the fact that it is a little best in one format, so you might be able to get a little bit of extra enlightenment counters and such, and refinement counters on the staff. Then we have the usual Tome of Sacred Lightning. Going into the main deck. So the main deck has the 4x Careful Studies, pretty much a staple for Rai as a whole. For Dungeon Guides, you really need it in this list. Rai really utilize it. You don't want to use Academy Guide because you don't want to skip levels, as you really want to banish your cards to go up into your overall Rai sort of effect, static ability. Rai ability. We have 4 Idle Thoughts in here. We're not running Scratus Guys. Scratus Guys is used into our Arisana list that we posted before, so we decided to go with the Idle Thoughts. You don't have to use it for the floating memory. You might be able to want to use it for Tome of Knowledge if you don't have the right cards in memory for it, so you're going to cheat out that way if you really need to, but it's in there in case you need it. And they have 2 Peer in the Mana for the slower matchups, so you're going to get more enlightened counters onto your champion. Because of the fact that we want to go ahead and level up Rai as quick as possible, especially that we're Wind, we're running 4 Beseech the Wind. Beseech the Wind is really good at pretty much getting into your free levels. You got to pay it down, you still pay the cost. So using Beseech the Wind to go up into level 2, level 3, or even getting your Tome of Knowledge can be really heavily utilized, or getting the Quicksilver Girl off of that as well. So there's a couple different ways that you can get with the Beseech the Winds to make it really utilizing its maximum value. For the Disoriented Winds in here to go ahead and bounce your return target ally to its owner's hands. You get the draw card as an efficiency bonus. You can pair it with something we're going to talk about later with Arcane Elemental to get your swings in. You can keep on Disoriented Winds your Arcane Elemental for free, and then casting your Arcane Elemental for free as well. Then we have 2 Ravaging Tempest. This is a card that's going back and forth. Pickles runs Repelling Bombast. We decided to go Ravaging Tempest. It does have efficiency bonus. It's a mage spell for the Ventus. And on top of that, you go ahead and banish banish all allies. So if you turn banish, you get to draw some extra cards. So it's something to keep in mind. Granted, also gives your opponent's cards because of the fact that each ally banished this way. Its controller draws a card, so just got to be a little bit careful when you're fully utilizing it. Pretty much trying to use it if you want to combo off a turn, or if you need to do something a little bit differently. And you have 4 Wind Rider, 4 Wind Valkyries here. Pretty much as it stands, you move 2 enlightened counters when it comes into play. If you do, you go ahead and draw a card, and get +3 attack. It becomes a 4/2 for its swing. Then you have 2 Zephyrs. Zephyrs is such a good card. Suppress target regalia or allies who had to use it on something, say if they're running a Tithe proc. You can Zephyr the Tithe proc. It's got them interaction you can use it with. Pretty much get the maximum value to Zephyr. That's why they even use it for the ally if you need to sort of on the stack Arcane Elemental. It will be stacked in the next at the end phase. You go ahead and you can Zephyr your sort of Zephyr your Arcane Elemental to sort of get through some abilities, or even do a couple different things on sort of that interaction as a whole. So something to keep an eye on. And then we have the usual Arcane package. We have 4 Advent of the Stormcallers, really good card that lets you banish cards top of your memory, then get a whole bunch of Arcane cards in there, get the Arcane Blast for free, get the Arcane Elemental down for free, get to a couple of abilities, also this ping your opponent for 2 if not running something like a Safeguard Amulet. 3 Anger the Skies. This is something I put in 3 of. I think Poker runs that well because of the fact that you're facing an ally matchup. Having 3 Anger the Skies is really good because you get to sit there and board wipe as much as possible. And then you can go ahead and then use it for banishing as well, because if you're not facing an ally matchup, it's a really easy card to get out of your hand ditching for your level. For Arcane Blast, pretty much a game closer. Arcane Blast is going to come in and deal 11 damage to a target champion. You have Arcane Disposition. This is a list that, like I said, Pickle's still running. It draws you 2 cards, and then you have to go and discard your hand, get your own X card with it. So pretty much just, if you have to set up a turn where you could sort of stall out a little bit, draw your hand, put it all down the memory, and then combo off into your next turn, it's sort of that, if you could buy an extra turn, the card is really, really powerful. Your Arcane Elemental, go and try and close those games out. You can maybe go up to 3, maybe tweak a little bit numbers, but the fact that you get Arcane Elemental cost 1 less for each of the Arcane Element card in your banishment, so then you can have the Pride 7, and then it's a pretty 7/7 body is going to start beating face in as you really want to try and loop it in with your wind spells to bounce it, play for free, bounce it, play for free, and keep on getting multiple attacks in for 7 damage if possible. For Arcane Sights, another staple, pretty much gives you an extra level as well as draw a card. Power Overwhelming lets you banish the enlightened counters on your champion to gain levels if you need to for, say, something like Avid Stormcaller or Arcane Blast to get the extra levels. It's sort of there if you need it for that ability. If not, you pretty much re-banish for your arcane spells. Full Shield Arcane, this is a 4x. I almost want to drop this down to a 3x a little bit, but it's a really good card. It lets you gain enlightened counters, lets you prevent that big damage turn depending on what your opponent's doing. So it's sort of a really good card to be utilized and have a 4x copy in here if you're able to hit the level 3. And then finally, you have Voltic Sphere. I love this card. This card is powerful. This card is broken. I mean, it might not even be broken. To me, it's broken. As a Rai player, this card is amazing. It's a card that lets you pay 2, get to deal 3 to a unit or deal 5 to an ally. Then on top of it, as a class bonus, that you can banish it. So you banish it, get an extra level because it's an arcane card, so you banish it. Then you get another -1 reduction on the next arcane card. So pretty much the next arcane you cast, pretty much cast 2 less. So say if you're level 11 on counters, you banish it, you go up to level 12, and you get minus another level of the cost of the Stormcaller with Voltic Sphere. And you're now at 13, you don't have to pay 2 for having the Stormcaller because you banished a Voltic Sphere. This card is super, super good. I'm a huge fan of Voltic Sphere. So, going into lineups. So this, like I said, I'm building this list in my mind, pairing with the Water Arisana list. Again, it's not this lineup isn't going to be the most utilized deck. I'm just going through different options at this point to give you different decks people can play if they're looking to have fun in the Path of Steel event. It's a very unique list, very fun, sort of technical. You really got to know how to maximize the value of each turn because the fact you facing allies, you have not a lot of ways to deal with that outside a couple of different cards. You're not going the fog route. So you have to keep in mind sort of your interactions and how you're going to start comboing your pieces, and you have to think about 2 turns ahead at a time. And then if you go into a couple different things with this list, you can pair it with, say, Fire Diana, Fire Merlin, Fire Lorraine, Erupting, because the way we built this deck that you're not taking up too many slots from that fire, which probably going to be your best deck in the list. We're going to go over that probably in the next video of the rounding off deck. But you can also pair this with Water Allies. Granted, though, be careful because if you pair it with Water Allies, you do have 4 Dungeon Guides in here. Water Allies usually wants the Dungeon Guide to go ahead and get the level bonus with the Scepter. So be very, very careful because you are taking the Dungeon Guides out of that player. But if you're playing with a Water Allies player and they're no longer running, say, Scry the Skies, you could swap these Idle Thoughts for Scry the Skies. If they really want to run Dungeon Guides, you could cut these Dungeon Guides. I wouldn't run Academy Guide. Like I said, it's not really being what you want to do with it. You can maybe look at a couple different win cards if you want to, a couple different spells to stall the game out. You can maybe go ahead and take some Resolute Stands or Vanishing Sights in there. You don't get the bonus off of the Mage, but pretty much trying to stall those turns a little bit extra. But Dungeon Guide really, really curves out this deck, and you really, really want it in this list, so be very, very careful who you're pairing it with as a whole. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Another short, sweet video going down a quick little deck break of Wind Rai if you want to bring this into the Path Steel 3v3 event. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave it down below. I'll be happy to answer them as you can. Like I said, this is going to be the last week that people are going to comment on the Merlin giveaway video. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You comment on that video. I'll probably do the raffle this week and then try and get it shipped out before the week before Worlds. So like I said, make sure you are on top of that. Well, I'd like to thank everyone again for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this very unique little Wind Rai list that you can bring into Path of Steel at Worlds. And I hope you all have a good one. Peace.